Hello, my friends and fellow VEDSies. So, we've been talking about a lot of YouTube and a lot of nostalgia, and that's fun. That's great. We've all got a lot of that. But also the present can be good sometimes actually, maybe. Great sentence. But yeah, we are very nostalgic this year because it's rough. But I figured it might be fun to talk about some of the channels that I am watching right now that are doing things now, because we should appreciate good things that are happening while they're happening. This isn't like a complete list at all. It is like a dozen channels, but it covers a wide range of things that I do on the YouTube. First, because he's been brought up twice already in VEDS, Thomas Sanders. Yes. I am that aggressively Hufflepuff that I watch Thomas Sanders. Not that you have to be a Hufflepuff to watch Thomas Sanders, but if you watch Thomas Sanders, you're probably a Hufflepuff. I'm not in the fandom or anything, but there have definitely been like weekends where it's like, yes, I will watch 8 Sandersides videos and just weep. It's just so creative and kind and wholesome. We all know Thomas Sanders. He was, the best part of Vine. And so now he can do like 45-minute long skits telling you that you're valid, but also to take care of yourself. It's really good. Another purely wholesome channel I love is Acoustic Trench, who I also follow on Instagram. It is this guy and his 2 doggos, and he plays a ton of musical instruments. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking about the harp, the guitar, and the kalimba, and I know that there's others. But he does acoustic covers and sometimes original music in beautiful locations, shot gorgeously, and then his dogs are there. It's really nice. He doesn't post a ton, but every time something new comes, it's wonderful. It's just wholesome. And his dogs, Maple and Cherry, are precious, and the covers are wonderful. So, yes. Also, he just did Alleluia, in the past week. So, he's relevant right now. Another animal channel that I follow, I don't follow a ton of animal channels. Most of my animals are on Instagram, but one that I do follow is Billy Speaks. So Billy's this little cat, this cat, and her owner has programmed buttons that if you press, it has a pre-programmed word or a couple of words, and has been teaching Billy how to use the buttons to communicate. And it's very wholesome. It's very wholesome because, it's a cat that can tell you exactly what it's thinking. It's really cool to watch Billy get a better understanding of the language. It's really nice and cute and fascinating, honestly, because Billy's doing really well at learning words. Billy's smart. You know who else is smart? Kevin Perger from Defunctland. If you haven't heard of Defunctland, I guess you don't like the Disney parks as much as I do. So the concept of the main series Defunctland is, here is a amusement park or attraction that is closed. It's no more. It's defunct, it's dead. What was it? How did we get it? And why don't we have it anymore? Super well researched and in-depth and funny. And there's also another series that I love, Defunct TV, which is looking at old TV shows. He's done episodes about Bear in the Big Blue House, The Muppet Show, Between the Lions. It's just really nice, and it's super well researched, and so I sound very smart when I'm talking about specific subjects. A person who actually makes me sound like smart is John Oliver, so Last Week Tonight. This is, not a YouTuber, this is the YouTube channel of the show. However, I do watch on YouTube because You really think I'm paying for HBO? I don't even pay so that people can visit my Animal Crossing island. But seriously, John Oliver presents the news in very in-depth and detailed ways, but also in a very entertaining way, and it is so interesting to learn so much while also laughing so much about really serious shit. If for some reason you've never seen Last Week Tonight, please do. It's good. You'll learn. But sometimes learning sucks and you want to just be stupid. May I introduce you to The Drawfee Show? It's 4 artists, Nathan, Jacob, Julia, and Karina, who all worked for College Humor before that happened, and they take dumb ideas and make even dumber drawings. So what does that mean? Because, like, sometimes it's like, hey, Christmas cryptids, draw 'em. Sometimes it's, take this drawing from when you were 6 and do it now but good. And sometimes it's, we know Julia knows nothing about Pokemon, so we are going to make her draw Pokemon and watch the eldritch horrors that she creates unveil before our very eyes. It is a wild card what you are going to get, but it is extremely entertaining. Drawfee is definitely one of those I put on when I'm eating dinner by myself sort of shows. You just sort of prop the phone up against a glass and laugh and hope that nobody can see your screen because you don't want them to see Spiel. Well, Julia's definitely a queen of darkness, but another queen of darkness that I love is Sophie Nygaard. This is the most YouTuber that is on this list. You've probably at least gotten recommended a Sophia video. You know, I melt down every Bath & Body Works candle and turn them into a Franken candle. I make a wedding cake out of all of the different types of cake. She does very odd things in the names of terrible, terrible science. Her channel is definitely a lot of fashion history, makeup history, and just trying new things because she can. And it's delightful. This is another channel that is far better researched than it has any right to be, but Sophia takes joy in being very thorough, and we all learn things because of it. Whether it's pigments that were used in old school lipsticks, or exactly how old her husband's athletic shorts are. It's in the decades. It's wild. But you know what's even more wild? Trying to make dice out of ramen. That is a real thing that Rybonator did once. Rybonator is a nerdy craftsman, is how I would best describe him. Primarily in the dice, terrain, and minis universe, and he has made some very interesting dice out of things including highlighters, ramen, his own fucking blood, and you know, like flowers and gold leaf and just cool stuff. But yeah, he'll make weird stuff, and he'll show you his many failures when trying something new and really take you through the process. And so it's educational and funny and bizarre, and either way he's just fun and honest and very much just like dad vibes. I said that Rybonator has dad vibes, but that's nothing compared to Greg from How to Drink's dad vibes. So he's just this guy who's got a bar set up, and he either teaches you about classic cocktails and the history behind them and how to make them, or invents cocktails based on existing properties. So he's made Vacation Juice, and he's made Klingon Blood Wine and Romulan Ale and, you know, Blue Milk, and made like cocktails out of this stuff. And then he'll also just be like, gimlets, what are those? I've always found mixology interesting, even though I'm not much of a drinker. But like the actual like, here's how to combine the flavors and here's the technique and this is what you want to do to get like an ombre look, or here's how much you should like crush the mint or not crush it to get the correct amount of oil. That stuff I think is very cool. It's basically just potions class, and I find that fascinating. So watching somebody do very detailed mixology drinks while also making nerd jokes. I said nerd shit, and now I'm trying to think of the next transition, and it really only could go to Dorian Noble. You ever wish books versus movies was still a regularly occurring thing? He doesn't actually do like books versus movies weighing which one is better, but it is very much an analysis of what was changed and why might it have been changed. And it's very detailed and very thorough and very funny. He's much more focused on accuracy than improvement, though he does go into that a little bit. And he also just sometimes will torture himself. If you are only vaguely aware of him and not truly aware, it's probably because you saw that he tortured himself by doing like a 12-part series on the 50 Shades trilogy and exactly why they're awful. It's incredible, the amount of analysis that this man does. And these two have actually like worked together, so this is an easy transition. Pushing Up Roses. She does a lot of stuff with like horror video games, from like old school horror video games, but that is less interesting to me than her other stuff. Her Goosebumps reviews, her Are You Afraid of the Dark reviews, her Golden Girls reviews, and the thing that got me over there, her Murder, She Wrote reviews. Rose is just like a genuinely entertaining person, and so even though I've not really seen or read Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of the Dark, it's still really interesting to hear her thoughts, and I love Murder, She Wrote and Golden Girls, so that's also very, very fun. And last, but definitely not least, Rachel Maxie. I've definitely talked about her a decent bit because she's just like a vintage Hobbit-core Alicia. It's not exactly true, but the vibes are very similar. But where Alicia does, you know, like poetry and journaling, Rachel does cosplay, but vintage. It's a really good time. I really enjoy her videos, and I really love her aesthetic. And I got a Pinafore because of her. And I want another one. But yeah, like I said, that's not everybody. That's nowhere near close to everybody. But that sort of represents a wide berth of what I tend to watch when VEDS isn't happening. And I've sort of fallen off the wagon on some of them because of VEDS, but it's fine. It's fine. So, what do you watch? Do you watch any of these? Do you watch anything that reminds you of these? Based off of this, is there anything you think I would like to start watching in October? Let me know. Alright, my friends and fellow VEDsies, I'll see you tomorrow.